Hi, it's me, Hadarah. How are you? I'm here to explain to you the reasons why I no longer consider myself a Christian. There is much more to understand about faith and spirituality than Christianity, Judaism, or any other organized religion will teach you. Nothing that I say in this video is intended to blame, to defame, or hurt any particular individual or any group, but I will be telling the truth about my experience. And I'm doing this to encourage people who are also on a similar journey. Since I started my blog at setapartheart.com, where I share music and motivation for your spiritual journey, I've been getting a lot more questions about what I actually believe. So this video is to help clarify some of what it is that I believe. Now, the SDA Church is where I grew up, and if you know anything about the SDA Church, then you know that they claim to be a peculiar people, set apart. This is because they keep the seventh-day Sabbath, which most Christians do not keep. Most Christians worship on Sunday. And I'm happy that I grew up in the faith that I grew up in because I got a very good, strong foundation. SDAs teach a lot of truth. But over the years, I started to realize that there is more, much more than what the church is willing to discuss. So I had to step outside of this social club that we call the church to really come to an understanding of what more there is to understand, what more the scriptures have to teach us. I think it's unfortunate that I had to step outside the church to do that, but the reality is that was what I had to do. Sometimes you gotta just quit drinking the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to share a few points about what I believe. This video is by no means exhaustive, and I don't claim to have everything figured out either. But what I'm going to speak about today is definitely things that I feel solid about in my spiritual walk at this point. And I think that sharing this will help someone who is watching out there, and I hope that person is you. So here we go. Okay, first I want to talk about the division between Old and New Testament. I don't believe that this division is right. I don't believe that it should exist. I believe there is unity in the scriptures from Genesis all the way through to Revelation. The people who translated the Bible decided to translate the Hebrew word berit into testament when really the word is covenant. A covenant is an agreement between two parties. It's an agreement that is based on promises. There is always blood involved in a covenant. The blood is what seals the covenant. Unfortunately, we don't get that picture when we hear the word testament. And the words old and new, old and new. Old really would be better understood as original, and new would be better understood as renewed. My faith is built on an everlasting covenant. So it is something that has been passed down from generation to generation, and something that is being renewed. And it's not something that is replaced. You can't replace the new with the old. The original still stands, and it's continuously being renewed. Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9 says, "What has been is what shall be. What has been done is what shall be done. There is no new matter under the sun." Again, nothing new. Now, the everlasting covenant was represented by several different people at several different points throughout Scripture. We have Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, David, and the Messiah. That's 6. And we know that 7 is the number of completion. So there's one more thing to happen for this covenant to be fully renewed. And this is when the Messiah comes again a second time and establishes the reign of peace on this earth. That is what I'm looking forward to. Now, it's unfortunate, I think, that the concepts of love and grace have been totally blown out of proportion when it comes to Christianity. Love and grace cannot exist without the law. In fact, in Exodus 20 verse 6, right within the 10 commandments, we see love and mercy. I'll read that for you. Exodus 20 verse 6 says, "But showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands." And the KJV, if you like that better, says, "But showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments." You see? Love and mercy is for those who keep or guard the commandments. Also, I want to point out in Exodus 20 verse 6, the number, it says thousands are guarding the commandments. Not millions, not billions, but thousands, because the way is narrow and few there be that find it. Also, with this concept of New and Old Testament, when the Messiah was on this earth, and when the disciples were telling about the good news, there was no New Testament in existence. They were preaching from the Old Testament. Everything the Messiah taught came from the Old Testament. He was just spitting out Old Testament scriptures all the time. Okay? Disciples, same thing. So if they could teach the good news, which is what we call the gospel, from the Old Testament, why do Christians teach that the good news started in the New Testament? That is actually false. The good news started from the foundation, before the foundation of the world. No one in their right mind would ever watch a movie from halfway through and try to actually understand the ending. That's not something that's done. You start at the beginning and you work your way through to the end. The reason is because the foundation is at the beginning. And if you miss that, you're not going to get it. So there's more to understand to the plan of salvation than just love and grace. And I hope that Christians will wake up to this. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is replacement theology. Christians would have us believe that Christianity replaced the nation of Israel. The Messiah did not come to start a new religion. He himself said, "I do not come to do away with the law or the prophets. I come to fulfill." He came to fulfill prophecy. He came to fill up, to complete, as in to make full. Okay, check this out. Matthew 15:24 says, "I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." I don't understand why we can't take the Messiah at his word. He said he came only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So the question then begs to be answered, who is Israel? So who is Israel? Who is Yisrael? Is it the people who are in Israel today calling themselves Jews? If you do a little tiny bit of research, and even if you ask the Jews themselves, the truth will be revealed that they have nothing to do with the natural-born seed of Israel. They are actually European converts who brought over their own language and man-made religion. We need to be clear about that. So Israel is comprised of the natural-born seed, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, and also those who are grafted into Israel. And you can be grafted in by choosing to divorce your other gods or your own nation and becoming a part of Israel, becoming a part of the belief system. And if you choose not to, you can't just put yourself in the scriptures where you're not. Like, the scriptures is a book about Hebrew people. Even in the New Testament, which is written in Greek, that book is still about Hebrew people. So we need to wake up and understand who those people are. And the more you study the beginning of the book, the more it becomes very clear who those people actually are. Deuteronomy 28:64 through 68, with a special emphasis on that verse 68. That verse will tell you that the Hebrew people were sold into slavery in Egypt again, or that they would be sold into slavery in Egypt again, and that they would be sent over there on slave ships. What group of people have been sent into slavery on slave ships in this world? There's only one group of people, so it's not a trick question. Think about it. But regardless of whether you are part of the natural-born seed or whether you are grafted into Israel, you are still part of Israel. Like, Christianity is not part of the picture. The Messiah himself was a Hebrew. Think about that. Another reason why I can no longer call myself a Christian is because Christians refuse to call on the covenant name of our Creator. His name is Yahuah, and his son's name is Yahusha. Now, you will hear many different interpretations of this name, but the name Yahuah really is YHUH or YHWH. And I don't know if you realize a similarity between U and W, but W is actually new, and that sound used to be two U's, a double U, ooh, Yahuah. Yahuah means the one who exists, and his son's name, Yahusha, means the one who exists is salvation. Now, don't let church people tell you that his name doesn't matter. If the name didn't matter, why did they replace it? Why did they take it out if it wasn't such a big deal? We're not instructed to call or sing on the title. We're instructed to praise the name. And yes, it does matter. We need to understand covenants and signs of the covenant. A sign or a mark is the same thing. And if we don't understand the covenants, we're not gonna understand the importance of the name. So I don't really argue about this with much people. I'm just telling you right now why I choose to use the name and why I just simply stepped outside of the church when I realized that they're not using it. The name signifies character. It signifies authority. A name is an identifier for who you are talking to. There are many lords and many gods. Who are you talking to? Who are you praising? Do you know? Do you actually know? I want to read you a couple of scriptures here. Isaiah 42 verse 8 says, I am Yahuah, that is my name, and my esteem I do not give to another, nor my praise to idols. Of all people on earth, we claim to have a personal relationship with our Creator, and yet we don't even use His name. What kind of relationship is that? Do you have any friends and you don't know their names? You have friends and you don't know their names. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If you have a relationship with someone, the first thing that you find out is their name. Now, if you want to make the Father's name simple, you don't have to get complicated. Look at the Hebrew letters for the word. That's it. People say, oh, you don't have any vowels, so you can't possibly know what the name is. There are no vowels because we didn't need vowels. There were consonants that acted as vowels. So even when we look today at the word Judah, or in Hebrew, it would be pronounced Yahudah, the same 4 letters in the Creator's name show up in that word. The same 4 Hebrew letters show up in the word Yahudah. The only difference is that the word Yahudah has an extra letter, and that is the D or the Dalet, Yahudah. Take out the D from Yahudah, you have Yahuah. It's not that confusing. I don't understand why everyone wants to complicate the name and say that we can't say the name and nobody knows the name. Are you kidding me? So just keep in mind, Lord and God are not names. They are titles. And Lord also used to be associated with the name of a pagan deity, Baal. So if you want to go around and call your Creator Lord, you go right ahead. No thank you for me. Isaiah 52 verse 6 says, Therefore my people will know my name in that day, for I am the one who is speaking. See, it is I. He said, my people will know my name in that day. You believe we're in the last days? Joel 2:32 says, And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of Yahuah, notice it doesn't say the title, everyone who calls on the name of Yahuah shall be delivered. For on Mount Zion and in Yerushalayim there shall be an escape, as Yahuah has said, and among the survivors from whom Yahuah calls. If I had more time, I would bring up the concept of the Trinity and the fact that the scriptures teach us that there is much more depth to a true understanding of who the Creator really is than what the Trinity puts in front of us. And then also, we need to stop being so selfish. A lot of the things that we do in our churches are based on the way we feel about worship, the music we like to hear, and the songs we like to sing. But have we ever stopped to think about whether or not our Creator is pleased with what we are doing? I have to bring this up. The holidays. I cannot for the life of me understand why Christians are celebrating Christmas, Easter, and what on earth are they doing with Halloween? What on earth? All of these holidays and more, pagan in their root to the core. Why are they in the church? They have nothing to do with the scriptures at all. In fact, they contradict what the scriptures teach. Okay, this video is far too long. Thank you for watching. I hope that it will inspire you to go back into the scriptures and study for yourself, whether you agree with me or not. And if you want music and motivation to inspire you on your journey, then you can meet me on my blog at setapartheart.com. That's setapartheart.com. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye!